Hiya Griffin Scopers, welcome back into the little sound booth, the place where we like to do soul birth card character analysis, analysing the energies that are running around a person's life that don't change from birth through till death, and really getting into the heart and soul of a person's character, what they came here to learn. With just very few cards actually, we glean a lot of information. So sometimes I like to do people from history because the tarot gives us a different lens to look at their lives and how they conducted themselves. Today is no different. We are going to be going down the shadowed halls of English history, looking at a king that was crowned in blood and buried in all sorts of rumours. Some say he was a villain, some say he was a victim. His bones were dug up under a municipal car park up in Leicester, the north of England, back in 2012. We are, of course, talking about King Richard III. So we're going to be laying the cards out for him today. But before I get into that, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. That helps keep the algorithms all good. And if anybody would like a private reading with me, then please do get in touch. My email address is in the description box below. So let's have a look and see what King Richard has in his character card makeup. Right, so we're starting off here with the High Priestess. Now, the High Priestess is the keeper of secrets, and she's surrounded in mystery, and she rules the number 2. So Richard was born on the 2nd of October, making him a Libran, and like I said, he is surrounded in mystery, especially the disappearance of the princes in the tower. Nobody knows what happened to these princes. They were the children of his brother, and one of those princes was in line to the throne. He was only 12 at the time, and in order to keep them safe, King Richard put them in the tower, and they were never seen again. So the mystery, the veil of truth is very much hidden, and this goes with this card. The figure guarding mystery, whether by choice or historical construction, still stands in a place that we do not understand. So the truth just lies out of sight, hidden, about what happened to those princes. Note how the High Priestess sits between the black and white pillars, between tension of opposing forces, and King Richard's legacy is marked by just that. The House of Lancaster was fighting with the House of York in the War of the Roses, and was he a rightful king, King Richard, or was he a usurper to the throne, protector of the realm or murderer of the rightful heir? So the tension is the very essence of the High Priestess, and King Richard stands like a liminal figure that exists between kind of truth and deception, surface and depth. The High Priestess guards the veil, what's seen versus what's hidden. And King Richard's image was shaped by the Tudor propaganda, by Shakespeare's pen, and not necessarily fact. The real man seems to lie behind a historical veil, just as the High Priestess conceals deeper wisdom behind her veil. King Richard ruled in a time when survival demanded insight and silence. Silence is what goes with the High Priestess. So while his silent strategy was his power, he did not publicly defend himself when accusations rose about those princes locked in the tower. So his silence also became his undoing, and he held dangerous knowledge, in Black Pillar here, and possibly he paid the price for that silence. So King Richard embodies all the twos in the tarot, and the High Priestess is the number that goes with that card. And when you look at King Richard's life and how he embodies all the twos in the tarot, you can see in the Two of Swords here how he faced a massive moral, political choice. It's a choice that he doesn't want to make. This crow's got an eye covering on, and when his brother, King Edward IV, died, it was a moral choice. Should he serve as protector of the realm for his young nephew who's next in the line to throne, or claim that throne for himself? Like the blindfolded crow, he was forced to act with a kind of limited clarity, but grave consequences at the cost of the lives of the little princes in the tower. So a card, this one, of division and loyalty versus survival. The Two of Pentacles captures King Richard's struggle to maintain control in a realm teetering, just as this crow's doing. It was teetering on the edge of civil war. And he was not just a king, but he was like a crisis manager, balancing power, danger, and he was also balancing his image. He wanted his reign to stabilise the Yorkist cause, and with the Two of Wands there, this speaks to quite an eerie kind of a metaphor for King Richard's life. So you can see that the two crows are looking in completely different directions, and it's a risky vision that King Richard was looking at, and quite a fatal one. And it begs the question, did he see far enough in both directions? His gaze is fixed on what lies beyond the unknown and the possible. The globe would be symbolic of his dominion, the kingdom he thought he was best suited to rule, only to fall before he could actually shape what he saw. So the Two of Cups, this is a card that symbolises trust, partnership, loyalty, emotional bonds. But in reverse, we get cracked cups, broken, sacred relationships. He was accused of breaking loyalty, and his reign was marked by the unravelling, if you will, of family ties and bonds that were once formed and then broken. So yeah, a lot served on his plate there. So going back to the High Priestess then, we do see a blue blood here as well. She's draped in all those blue robes. The High Priestess motto would say, be still, because what has been hidden will be revealed in time. And I guess centuries later, with the discovery of his body and that having been examined, it's caused people to question a lot of the accusations that were levelled at King Richard, and whether people actually thought he was a monster or not. But he's seen much more as a man of nuance. So King Richard's historical existence demands justice. Justice represents the truth of his story, which is unfinished. It's like a trial with no actual final verdict. So yes, justice represents law, order, truth, cause and effect. I mean, he wasn't just a warrior dying on a battlefield. He promoted fair access to justice for the poor. He tried to be a guardian to fairness, but that was difficult in a time when things were very unfair. Justice represents karma, so what is done shall return. Do no harm is what comes with this card. You reap what you sow. He took the throne and died just 2 years later. His name smeared for centuries. And who gets to write King Richard's verdict? Was it Shakespeare? Was it the tutors? Is it modern historians? His story mirrors the long arc of justice, slow, painful, but still turning. And just to go back to the twos then for a moment before I leave this. So not only was he born on the 2nd, he died on the 22nd at 32, and he had 2 bastard children. He died at 28. He married on the 12th. His nephew was 12. All these different things. You know, his bones were discovered on the 12th. There's a lot to do with twos, numerologically around his life. So yeah, justice holds the sword and the scales of balance, and that of truth and judgment. So he stands as a figure waiting in a courtroom of time, literally. His life reflects a ruler trying to rule justly, like I said, in an unjust world. A man condemned by his victors, not by evidence. And his is a legacy really, which is still on trial. And one questions, when will his scales of justice actually be balanced, and his sword not causing wounds but liberation. And I just quickly want to show you something. The actual picture that inspired me to do this reading was the one I put on the post today, guys. I put posts up every single day, so always check the posts. And look, we've got this sword here on a castle, and yeah, the sword of truth doesn't wound, it liberates. And that's kind of what I feel King Richard's soul is waiting for, liberation. So his birth cards are the Lovers and the Devil, and the Lovers show at the moment of the moral choice that was made, or choices that were made, and the Devil shows him after the choice or choices and bound to that choice and that dark legacy that it left behind. The fateful choice was a moral choice that changed the whole history of England, a choice that was most probably made in fear, and that could have led him to a life that was lived in chains, chained to guilt, chained to lies and myths and the power of a cold grip. So from a man with sacred duty and family bonds to a king trapped, entangled in the shadow of illusion, from the rumoured nephews, the prince's deaths, this is where it left him. So we are going to pendy on those princes and ask King Richard, please. So right for a yes, left for a no, up and down for a maybe, and stop for a block. So did King Richard murder the princes in the tower? Yes or no? Please tell us, yes or no. Did King Richard murder the princes in the tower. It's getting stronger, and that's going to a no, guys. Power's building, stronger and stronger. That's definitely a no. Okay. So the year cards, the energy that King Richard left this world on, are the Empress and the Hangman. And while the Empress is often seen as quite a nurturing force, in King Richard's story, she reflects a kind of barrenness of a legacy, a broken bloodline, the womb of the dynasty closed too soon. He only had one legitimate child who died very young, and the fruit of the crown withered before the harvest. So in reverse, the Empress would be in grief here. And King Richard's death at the Battle of the Bosworth Field was the end of a dynasty. Unlike the Hangman, his legacy hangs upside down, trapped between truth, propaganda, his fall from power, the inversion of his image here, and the historical suspension of his true character, I feel, lies in the energy of this card. The card captures a life that began in a very noble tradition but ended in sacrifice. So guys, let's get a What's the Vibe Oracle card on King Richard and anything that he'd like us to know. King Richard, please tell us. Because I do feel like his spirit is still around, it's not left. And when I started this reading, he told me, address me as king. That one wants to come out. Guys, I'm going to do a tarot tip on falling cards, or cards that jump out. These have the most strongest message of all. Think how much energy it takes for spirit to pull a card out and force you to look at it. So this is definitely the one. Oh, wow, look at that. Chaos, I'm getting tingles. Chaos, upheaval, disaster and downfall. And here we even get a field. That's incredible. He died on the battlefield at Bosworth. Okay, guys, time for the charms. We love the charms. Let's get the selenite in my hand. Okay, dig deep. Here we go. What have we got? Right, we've got an angel number of 555 right there. 555 is transformation, and I hope by the excavation of his bones there will be some transformations within some of the things that have been said about him. We've got a gun. Guns are power. They kill people. Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. We've got a gun and we've got the peace symbol. Yes. You know, when you're channeling right, guys, he's a Libran. I said he was born on the 2nd of October, and this is what's come out. And this is the Libran card where you can see the scales of justice right there, right on point. Beautiful. And then lastly, we've got the lemniscape. So again, what goes round comes round. We were talking about karma, and I just hope there's some justice for this king. May take time, but I do feel something in my bones, something in my waters are telling me that there will be some kind of justice for this man. Okay, so we will leave it there. That was the Griffin Scope take on King Richard III. Make of that what you will. Let me know your comments. I'll be really interested to hear those. You have a blessed rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and fly well, my friends.